Welcome to our regular iSpring webinar series where we discuss e-learning trends, share tips and tricks, and highlight client success stories. My name is Kate. I'm a community manager at iSpring and your moderator for today's session. And today's webinar is called Transforming on-the-Job Training with an LMS. And over the next hour, we're going to discover everything you need to know about what on-the-job training is and how it can benefit your business. And now, let me introduce you to our tech support whiz and your presenter today, Karina Wolf. Hi, Karina. How are you doing today?
Hi, Kate. I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm feeling great too, and I can't wait to get started.
Hey, everyone. And I'm super thrilled to be here with you today. So, as Kate just said, today we are exploring the on the job training module for iSpring Learn LMS. This tool allows you to easily train your staff and conduct assessments using transparent and easy to understand checklists right at the workplace. So before we dive in, I'd love to get to know to get to know you all a bit more. So could you please share your experience with on-the-job training? So let me know that on-the-job training is called many things. Sometimes it's called field assessment, hands-on learning, learning by doing, or job mentoring. So Kate has already launched a poll. So the question is, have you ever conducted or participated in site trainings yourself? So as usual, I'll give you some time to respond to the question. I see that most of you have participated or conducted such trainings before and found it very helpful. That's great. All right. Thank you for sharing, everyone. Looks like you're all kind of doing this in different ways, and some of you are new to the whole thing as well. But I assure you that the info we share today will be useful to all of you regardless. So here is our agenda. So the first part will be more theoretical, perfect for those who are considering implementing on the job training and aren't sure how it fits into their workflow. And in this part, you will learn what on the job training is and how it's used, the positive impact on the job training brings to a business, and who needs to be involved in on the job training within a company. Then we'll move on to the practical part. This section is great for both newcomers and those who have been using on the job training for a while. And in this part, you will discover what you need to prepare before launching the on the job training module in iSpring Learn. And then we'll conduct an assessment session at a retail point and analyze the reports. So, ready to get started? Let's jump in. And first of all, what is on the job training? It is the evaluation of an employee's performance during their job duties through observation. And why does a company use on the job training? The first goal is onboarding and training. On the job training focuses on integrating employees to their everyday working environment. So, after theoretical training, additional training can be conducted in the actual work environment, aimed at developing employee skills and meeting work standards. This kind of training occurs regularly. The result is a filled out observation checklist with feedback enabling precise tracking of employees' progress. Most participants are new hires in the job role. However, this method can also be used as part of an internal job rotation or a professional internship program. And the second goal is regular performance evaluation. This helps understand how knowledge and skills are applied in real work conditions. As a result, the company can easily monitor compliance with standards, check for position suitability, quickly implement new work rules, and track employee development trends. So now that we've covered why we need on-the-job training, let's talk about which industries find it specifically beneficial. When developing this module, we conducted market research and compiled a list of industries where this type of evaluation yields the best results. Fast-moving consumer goods is one of the most popular sectors where on-the-job training is used. In consumer goods sales, businesses deal with large supply volumes, numerous geographically disturbed retail points, and a broad employee base. It's crucial that the entire process runs like clockwork. On-the-job training helps establish an efficient control system at every stage. Also, these are industries that require strict compliance with the rules and regulations, which consequently entails the need for a transparent assessment system, such as pharmacy, retail, manufacturing, the restaurant business, and customer service. So, next, I'd like to talk about the benefits that conducting on the job training brings to a business. It's clear that on the job training is a particularly valuable asset for HR managers, department heads, and learning and development managers, and other roles that involve nurturing workplace relationships. So, before we move on, I'd like to turn to our audience and see if you all fit into these professional category. So, raise your hand if you are involved in a role like I just mentioned. So, to do that, you'll need to send the hand icon in the chat. All right. Wow. I see a lot of hands. That's so cool. And you're definitely among your peers. So, let's look at how a well designed on the job training program benefits organizations. First, it provides a custom learning experience. New employees learn how to perform tasks in exactly the right way for your organization. This can help your new employees eliminate their weaknesses, acquire necessary skills, understand the company's values, and become productive more quickly. Cost efficiency. Training is usually conducted by experienced colleagues in the workplace, not in the classroom, since it eliminates the need to hire expensive external trainers for hosting seminars and other training sessions, or to travel offsite. It requires the bare minimum of expenses. Um, Increased worker engagement and job satisfaction. A recent study by LinkedIn found that 94% of respondents would stay with an organization longer if it invested in their careers. Another study found employees who were offered on-the-job training to be 30% happier with their careers than those who received no training. Develop an internal talent pipeline. This kind of training gives you experienced workers the chance to mentor new coworkers within a structured framework. And this can help you prepare high performing team members for future advancement. Reduce turnover. Employees are the most important asset of any business. Attracting, hiring, and retaining top talent can be difficult in many job markets today. Training can show both new and current employees that you are serious about creating long-term job opportunities. So now we're almost done with the first part and can move on to working in iSpring Learn. But before I show you how to conduct an assessment session, let's see what needs to be prepared, what steps to follow, and which employees of the company should be involved in the assessment. Let's start with the process. The first thing to do is to create observation checklists for assessment. When designing any type of learning program, always start with the end in mind. So ask, what are our company goals for the program overall? Which job roles would benefit most from on-the-job training? What are the qualifications, knowledge, hard and soft skills for those job roles, and etc. Once you've identified your most precise training needs, you can start to define the specific knowledge or competences your on-the-job training should include. So here are a few examples on the slide. And so when you've identified the specific skills, it will be easy for you to create the assessment checklist. You can create it directly in the iSpring Learn account. There is a convenient form for this, allowing you to quickly make a survey. And there you can also find an example of a sales department assessment checklist. It can give you an idea of what the questions for the checklist should look like. Next, you will need to plan the start date for the session. There is a handy feature in the on-the-job training module in iSpring Learn for this. So you'll need to step-by-step select the assessment manager, the employees to be assessed, and the start date and time on the calendar. All participants will receive a notification about the start date. The next step is to conduct the session itself. For example, in the retail sector, a manager or mystery shopper goes to the retail point, observes, and fills out the survey directly on their mobile phone. This allows for checking of all items on the checklist in real time, ensuring all information is up to date and accurate. And finally, analyzing the conducted sessions. iSpring Learn has a convenient dashboard with assessment reports available to managers. It shows the overall percentage of standards compliance across the company, separately by departments and importantly by each skill. So this allows us to work with specific employees who have low scores and take actions if any skills are lacking across the department. For example, arranging additional training. And now let's talk about which employees should be involved in the on-the-job training process. First and foremost, it's the head of the department or manager. They'll have access to reports by departments and can make timely decisions to improve work even further. Next, the L&D manager or training manager. It's best to entrust the creation of assessment forms and the assessment plans to the training department. This is the most crucial step, which can be automated no matter how hard you try. So you'll need to create the assessment forms and fill them with specific questions unique to your industry and company. Meetings with managers and employees might be necessary. Then the training manager will need to schedule a specific training day convenient for the assessor and the employee. It's best if this training manager is the same person who usually schedules other in-person sessions. And next, we need someone to conduct the actual on-the-job training. This is likely a staff member from the quality control department. This person will need to visit the assessment location. And lastly, it's the employee being assessed. If employees are participating in on-the-job training for the first time, it's important to explain to them how the process works and which skills will be assessed. This will definitely lead to better results as employees will better understand the purpose of the assessment. So great. Now we are ready to move into the iSpring Learn account and conduct the evaluation session. So before we do that, I think some of you might haven't heard about our LMS. So just a quick word about it. iSpring Learn is a reliable LMS for training, upskilling, and certifying your teams. Robust yet easy to use, iSpring Learn makes training management a breeze thanks to automation, scalability, and numerous integrations with other business tools. Assign courses, onboard new hires, get detailed reports on learner performance, and more, all on a single intuitive platform. You can easily try it yourself by following the link in the bottom left corner. Today, I will demonstrate everything using the sales department as an example. Here we have a process where novice meets with a mentor and simulates a call. The on-the-job training tool will be incredibly useful. So now I'll switch to the iSpring Learn account and we'll create an assessment session, fill out the checklist, and then review the reports. So let me just quickly share my screen. All right, so I think now you can see my screen. Please let me know in the chat if you can see my screen. All right, perfect. Thank you. Yes, you can see it. So before I move on to creating the on-the-job training session, I'll just quickly go over some of the features we have in iSpring Learn, some of the buttons that we have here. So the first thing is the dashboard, and then on the left panel, everything is mainly placed. So first is the dashboard in the administrator portal. Now we have learning content where all the content is stored, and we have trainings where you can schedule meetings, Zoom, Microsoft Teams meetings with employees, and we have users where you can add, delete users, departments, and groups. And we have reports, knowledge base, course questions, and then here is our on-the-job training. And then we have some more features like the appraisal review for employees, newsfeed, and settings. So to start working with the on-the-job training module, we'll need to click on-the-job training on the left pane. And here we will see two tabs. The first one is on-the-job training sessions, where basically you can create the session and launch the session. And then observation checklists. So to start assessing an employee, we'll need to move to observation checklists because before you can create a session, you need to create the competencies that the employee will be evaluated on. So let's just go ahead and click observation checklist. To create a new checklist, you'll just need to click on where it says new checklist. And once we click on that, we'll see. So the first thing that will be in the checklist is some general info. By default, there are such fields as training topic, location, customer. You can also delete those if you don't want them or you want to replace them. You can also add fields here if necessary. So you just click here, and you can also remove these as well. So here is how you work with this. And then it's followed by competency areas. So basically the areas that the employees will be evaluated on. And you can also add some performance metrics for each competency area. And you can also create, add new competency areas by clicking on add competency area. Here is how it works. And you can also move competencies up and down. And then the last section of a checklist is feedback. It's here by default, and by default, it includes strengths, areas of improvement, and some comments. So here is how the checklist works. I won't be creating a new checklist right now because it might take a lot of time. So to save up some time, we have one already prepared, and we'll be using that one. But I just wanted to show you how you can create a new checklist. So if we look here, we'll see that it says hidden, which means that this list is basically not visible. So when you will be creating, if I go back right now and I go ahead and start creating a new session, I won't see this checklist in the list. So make sure to publish the checklist before you move on to creating a new on-the-job training session. I know this feature is kind of hidden, but you need to click on the three dots here and then click publish and then click save and publish. Now we can see a pop-up message that the checklist was published, and here it changed from hidden to published. Perfect. And now we can go back to our checklist. So I'll just click on this arrow right here and go back. So here is the list of our checklist that we have. This is the one that is created by default, and we'll be using this one today. And also, anytime you can also add it, make changes to your checklist. So if you want to make some changes, you can easily click on the pencil icon, go in, and maybe add some new competency areas or just delete the ones you have already. Maybe copy them. Just make sure to, when you make some changes to your checklist, make sure to publish it again. So once you make the changes, make sure to publish it one more time to apply the changes. So here's how easily you can create a checklist, even though it might take quite a lot of time creating an actual checklist, but it does take only a few clicks. So now that we have the checklist created, we can move on to creating the training session itself. So we need to go to on the job training sessions tab here. Some of the employees have already been evaluated, but to create a new session, we need to click on where it says new session. The first one, the first step is where we need to create to select the observer and the employee who will be assessed. So you can just click on the observer and select the observer from the list and then click select. And the same with the employee. You just click on select employee. Let's select Carter from the sales team. Select, and then click next. And here is the second step is selecting the checklist. So basically the competencies we'll be assessing the employee on. This is the one we've just created. I also had one hidden one, and as you can see, it doesn't pop up in the list here. So make sure to publish the checklist before you move on to creating the session. So I'll just go ahead and click floor sales representative, click next. And the last step is selecting the time the training will be held. So you can either schedule it or start now. So for scheduling, you can set a certain start date. You can change the start date easily. So click on the calendar, select a different date. You can select a different time. You can change the duration of the session, or you can just select start now. If you select the start now option, immediately after you click create session, the training session will launch and um, you will need to assess the employee right away, basically. So I'll just create, click select schedule. Let's schedule it for today, create session. Perfect. And now we can start the session. We can edit it, or repeat or delete it. So to start the session, you will basically just need to click on Start Session. And here we have basically some general info that we'll need to fill in. The general info section is not necessary to be filled in, so it's optional. And then we have the competency areas that we were creating in the checklist sections. I won't be assessing this employee right now because it will take quite a lot of time because this checklist is quite long, but I will just show you what options you have here. So for competencies, you can skip some of the options. So for example, if you're not sure if this employee meets this or that statement, if this employee completes this or has the skill, you can just say skip. And also, if you select any of the answer option, if the observer selects any of the answer options, they can easily also add some comments on the employee, which will be visible to the employee that is being assessed, and we'll see that later. So yeah, this is how you fill in the checklist. You can add comments on any of them, and then you can just click Finish Session. I have some of the options unfilled, which is why I have this pop-up message. I will just say continue later. And now if I go back and resume the session, I will see that the answers I've chosen are saved. So I won't have to redo this redo everything. I will just be able to continue assessing the employee without me having to refill everything anytime. which is especially useful if you're assessing the employee over a work day. You might not be able to give the answers to all the options right away. Maybe you will have to go back to some of the options and fill them out throughout the day. So, which is especially useful for this. It auto saves the changes. Let's say continue later. And let's see how the completed checklist, complete session looks like. So this is the completed session on this employee. So if I click on it on the list, I will see the overall information, like the start date, the employee, the observer, and some more information. And here is the general information that is given at the beginning of the checklist. We'll see the observation score, the feedback with all the comments from the feedback session, and score by competency areas. And then below, we will see the each each competency and the scores and the comments. So everything it will be listed right here. And we can also print this as well. Okay, I won't be printing this right now. Let's go back. Some of the other things you can do with the training sessions is you can repeat the session. So if I click repeat the session, I will be able to either launch the session right away or select a different date for the session as well. Uh, this is especially useful so you don't have to recreate everything. Let's say the employee lacked some skills once you evaluated him at a certain point, and now you gave him some training after, and you want to see if there has been any improvement. So you just repeat the session, and it takes only 2 clicks. All right, so this is how it looks from the administrator portal. And also if we go to the user portal, let's say that this employee, the employee that assesses the new hire is the supervisor, is set as the supervisor of the employee. So if we go to the My Team section, which is a section for supervisors and functional managers, and here we have observation checklists, and we will be able to see the results on our employee from here as well. So if we go to on-the-job training, we will see that this employee has 2 sessions in progress, and we'll see the status of the session, the score, the score on each competency. We will be able to see the observer and open the report, which is the same report that we've just seen with the detailed information. Okay, and there is also the on-the-job training in the user portal. So let me just click on incognito and sign into the account under the user's credentials. So you can see how the employee will see the results. All right, so let's just sign in under Carter's credentials. All right, Carter has admin rights, but we will need to go to the user portal. And once we are in the user portal, we will need to click on the on-the-job training tab at the top. And here are the 2 sessions that were held. As we can see the observer, the date and time. And if we click on the completed session, we will see the same information that the administrator sees with all the comments and feedback. So the user itself, the user that is being evaluated, sees all the information as well. All right, so I think we can go back now. Go back to the owner of the account, the observer. So let's now go back to the administrator portal. I will just go to administrator portal. And once the session is held, you can also see the information in the reports, because with these feature added, we've also added a new report for this module. So let's just go ahead and click reports on the left panel and then scroll down. And here is the on the job training report, which is called observation checklists. So here we will see the list of all the observation checklists we have in the account, even the hidden and deleted ones. So if you don't want, if they're presented in a random order, you can just sort them out. So you can see only the published ones up top, so it's easier to access them. And then you can also filter the checklists if you need to find a specific checklist and you don't want to be looking through the list if you have many checklists. Manually, you can just select it here. You can also select the period when the session was held. And you can also export this report. But now to see the details on the training session, we will need to select the checklist that the employee was evaluated on. So click on it in the list, and then we'll see a bunch of options like by department, by supervisors, by employee. So we'll need to click on by department. And here is the overall general information on the department, how all the employees from the department were evaluated, their overall score, um, and on each competency and skill separately. So you'll be able to see how the overall department is doing, what skills they're lacking, and give them some training in the future. So, and if you want to see more detailed information, not just the on the overall department, you need to select the department and then click employee results. And here you will see all the employees in this department that were evaluated and the detailed information on what score they got overall and on each competency as well. So I think that is it. And you can also export this report the same way. You can change the period and add some filters here as well if you need to find a certain employee in the list and don't want to be looking through the list, and as well as add some additional columns to the report. All right, so to date, we tackled the ins and outs of setting up and on the job training and dissecting the results. So, for some extra brain food, we've got an article on our website with a deep dive into on the job training. So, if you're hungry for more pro tips, hit up the link Kate dropped in the chat. LMSs implement trainings in various ways, but as you've seen, iSpring Learn offers a comprehensive on-the-job training modules that is extremely easy to use and understand. So if you want to explore this feature and a host of others to evaluate your business performance, you can sign up for a demo session. Head over to the link in the bottom left corner for more information. So I think at this point we can wrap up this presentation, and I hope this webinar was helpful. And now we are ready to move on to our Q&A session.
Yes, thank you so much, Karina. That was great. But before we move on to Q&A session, I want to ask you to fill out the survey about the webinar. Maybe if you can stay longer. So I will share a link in the chat, and let's go to see what questions we have. I saw a lot of them. I think maybe we need to demonstrate iSpring Learn once more.
Sure, sure.
So um, The first question is from Teresa. Can there be multiple observers?
No, only one.
But can we like assign the same observation checklist to different observers and then
Sure.
see like yeah. So
Yes, yes.
for one form there is only one observer, but we can make several forms for several observers.
Yes, basically you'll need to create different sessions. If you want different observers to evaluate one employee, you will need to create different sessions because there can only be one observer in a session.
Yeah, okay. There was a question from Hannah. I answered it, but I'm not sure. So, who is starting the session? Would it be the trainer or the learner?
The observer always starts the session.
So, yeah, okay. And I saw a similar question like, could the observer be another employee? And would this work if the observer only has a learner portal?
Sorry, can you repeat
Yeah.
this question one more time?
Could the observer be another employee? I think it's the answer is yes.
Let me quickly. I just don't think I get this question.
Like
Um,
we have several employees and we can assign like the role of the observer to like one of the employees. I think that's the question.
um, Basically, when you create the session and you set an observer, you can change the observer later on. Is that what the question is about?
I think like we have like several employees in the department and we need to like choose one of the one assessor and one the employee one employee and could the observer be one of like the colleagues of this employee if I got it right. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, yeah. The answer is yes.
Yeah, okay. And also, I see a question from Lynn. Does the observer needs to be a manager? I think that's the deal. Like, does the observer needs to be a manager, or we can assign it to her, whoever we want?
Honestly, it's up to you because, well, when selecting the observer, it can be anyone from the company really, but it's just that so mostly it's managers, but obviously you can choose any person that works in the same department as the employee that is being evaluated.
Yeah, okay. Now that works because yeah, I see the comment from Bob. Like, can I make one employee an observer of another? Something like that. So from yeah, from a practical point of view, yes, but if it makes sense in some like um, some training, no, no. So yeah, okay. And there was, would this work if the observer only has a learner portal?
No, no, because let me just actually let me double check this
Yeah,
to
I was
make
sure.
sure.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll just go back to Carter and make him a learner. All right, let's make him a learner. And another session, let's click repeat session. Start. Okay, let's create the session. Oh, maybe we should switch places. We should make Carter. I don't think I will be able to make Carter. Yeah, only those who have access to the administrator portal basically can be observers. So if the employee doesn't have any access to the administrator portal, they won't pop up in the list. So they need to have the administrator role.
But we still can give them access to the administrator portal. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. In this case, they will pop up as the observer, and yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Um, so I see a question from Marjorie. Can we set a recurrence on the job training assessment so that the employee will be reassessed at a later time?
Can you repeat the question, please?
So can we set a recurrence so that
Oh, oh, got
these
it,
trainings
got
will
it.
be repeated?
Got it. Got it. No, automatically, I'm afraid no. But I will definitely pass it on as a feature request. But right now, no. So you'll have to manually go in and click repeat session or create a new one manually. Well, easier to repeat the session, but no, not automatically.
Okay. And there's a question about can we make a checklist in a Google Docs? And I said that what you can, but you will still need to manually fill out this form in the iSpring Learn. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Because you cannot import documents or anything yet. So you will still need to type in everything manually into the
Yeah, but I
checklist.
think I saw it in our development plan. So just, yeah, we will see it in the future, I hope. Um, okay, let's see uh, what other questions we have. I see a question from Christy. Once we publish the task, can we transfer it to another platform? Or maybe it's about on the job, like task assessment list. So once we publish the assessment list, can we transfer it to another platforms?
No, 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 no. On the job observation checklists and on the job training sessions cannot be transferred to other platforms. They will always be stored in iSpring Learn.
Okay. Um, so yeah, that is the answer to the question. Yeah, can I Spring Test export it to Microsoft Teams? So no. Um, okay, I see a comment from Richard that I created a user role of trainer without all the administrative permissions, but with OGT permissions. So there is like special OGT permissions here, yeah.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, so we can assign the observer with OGT permissions. Okay.
Yes, yes, that's right.
I'm not sure about this question if you know it, but there is a question for Matt. Is it compatible with Wave training LMS? Um,
Well, in general, iSpring Learn can be integrated with any LMS, third party LMS systems or websites or any other platform systems through API because iSpring Learn has open API. I assume that this question is about like integrating um, iSpring Learn with another LMS. If I got it right, if I didn't get it right, just please can you give some more details? Like
yeah,
this what
and if you
what
want to
you
check some like specific platforms, you can always write to our support mail. Um, I will share it right now. And there's also one specific question from Bob, and I'm not sure also if you know it, but let's see. So he works in with international clients with GDPR. I'm sorry, GDPR compliance. Where is GDPR compliance is critical? So he needs to control over where employee data is stored. So do we have this type of federated database of the observations?
give me just a few moments. I'll just read this question again and I'll think I'll think it over. I don't think I can give a response to this right away.
Yeah, okay,
Maybe
but because yeah, I know that some of our sales managers know for sure, like how it works, but yeah, I think we don't have an answer right now. But you can write to us to our email, and we will find the answer to you if it's critical. So yeah, um, yeah, thanks. Okay, I see coming from Carolyn that supporting is coaching for her. So yeah, good job, Karina. Thank you and all your team. So maybe I missed some questions. If I did, just please write them in the chat again. And I remember the question about percentages. So can you change the percentages of the answers?
no, no. Actually, when the session is in progress, is only when you can make some changes to the percentages, the answers, the options. So everything can be edited when the session is in progress. Once the session is finished, you cannot make any changes. So the score given cannot be changed, the final score.
Okay. Um, yeah, I see a question from Lean, but I'm also not sure if Karina knows the answer. And I will write it down and we will return to you by email. Um, okay, I see a question from Richard. So I think we can tackle this one. So will groups show up as as departments on the OGT page or screen?
Um, so I think you mean the when you create the session, right? I think that's what you mean. Um, or in the reports.
Yeah, Richard, if you can clarify, um, we would be happy.
Yeah. So when creating the session or when running a report on the checklist.
When displaying or other.
So I assume it's about reports
Yeah,
mostly.
yeah, I think it's about reports.
Okay. So let me go to reports. So in general, when departments are selected in reports, only departments will be shown. So no groups or smart groups will be shown. Um, for groups, we have, okay, let's. So if we go to the observation checklists report and then we click by employee, we click on add filter. Oh, right. So no, I'm afraid that this cannot be filtered by groups. It can only be filtered by departments. So no groups or smart groups.
Oh, so yeah. So okay, yeah, Richard got it. So yeah, unfortunately no, but yeah, I hope it will work for you. So I can't see any other questions in the moment. So if you still have some, just fill out the survey. You can leave them there, or you can always write to our emails. And yeah, I before we say goodbye, I have one little announcement here. So let me share the screen.
Wait. I think we missed one question from Carolina.
Okay. So you can type your question and we will answer it after my little announcement. So um, I want to invite you all to join our intensive online training for 2 days on the 29th and 30th of May. You will learn from our instructional design expert who will share her expertise and guide you through everything you need to know to create an online course. And I will share a link to it um, if you want to find out more. And today we have also special 20% discount that is valid till the 20th of May. So you have 4 days to decide if you want to participate in it. And I will share a link to discount right now at the bottom left corner. So yeah, um, that's all I've got for you today. And I can see a question from Carolina. So, um, yeah, okay. Okay, so you can write to us anytime you want. And you can join us our next webinar, and I will share a link to it right now also. So you can ask your questions there. We will be happy to answer them. And Karina, thank you again for sharing all these insights with us. And thank you, everyone, for being such an attentive audience. And I appreciate all your comments and feedback. And yeah, hope you have enjoyed. Take care and see you next time.
Thank you, everyone.